the country. S. Vijayadharani is also there with us. I'm going to try and go across to her. But let me first bring in Anand Ranganathan. Dr. Ranganathan, you've of course written, and we have Uma also with us, Miss Uma, and we are going to bring her into the conversation. Nice seeing you back, Miss Uma. Lovely having you on the show. I'm going to go first to Dr. Ranganathan and get a sense of what to make of this High Court's intervention, very timely intervention. Dr. Ranganathan, you've constantly in the past also sort of picked out the courts and said that they haven't really spoken up, but here they are, and they are putting very firmly not just Udayanidhi Stalin, but perhaps the Indie bloc in the dock.
Good evening, Rahul. I'm afraid I humbly disagree with the stance that you're purporting and the what the Madras High Court did, because in my view, I'm afraid the Madras High Court order on Sanatan Dharma is emblematic of the hypocrisy, virtue signaling, cowardly stance and double standards of each of our four pillars of democracy, including and specifically the judiciary. Let me explain. There are four issues here. Number one, on hypocrisy. Rahul, if you ask me the textbook definition of a banana republic, I would say that it is a republic where the Supreme Court stays silent on blatant violation of its own order. It has been more than 2 months since Udayanidhi Stalin wanted to eradicate Sanatan Dharma. More than 2 months since the Tamil Nadu government has been in direct contempt of the Supreme Court order of the April that said states should immediately file cases in instances of hate speech, and yet nothing has been done either by the state or the Supreme Court or the Madras High Court. I can only infer that eradication of Hinduism, comparing it to dreadful incurable diseases, calling it a menace upon the world, is not construed as hate speech by the Supreme Court, in which case it begs the question, why did it so ruthlessly come down on Nupun Sharma for merely quoting holy texts and infer it to be hate speech? But today, the same judiciary has refused permission for the holding of a conference titled Eradicating Dravidian Ideology. So you can hold a conference for eradicating Sanatan Dharma and the state will not act against you, and the most High Court will do is to castigate the police, but not the Supreme Court or its own judiciary for 2 months for not taking action. But if you want to hold a conference to eradicate Dravidian ideology, the state will not give you permission. If this is not hypocrisy, I don't know what is. Number two, virtue signaling. The court says one should not hold a conference to, quote, eradicate any ideology. I'm sorry, but I have a serious problem with this. Why can I not hold a conference where I profess my views and desire to eradicate, for example, Nazism or Maoism or any ideology that calls for the direct murder of millions who do not profess that ideology? It defies logic. Number three, cowardly stance. There already is an ideology that specifically and unambiguously directs its followers to kill, maim and convert non-believers and all those who profess other ideology. So by the court's own logic, this ideology should be banned. But does the court have the courage to ban this ideology? Number four, double standards. The court says that free speech is not hate speech. Well, who decides what is hate speech? Polytheists are the worst of creatures, 98.6. Is this hate speech according to the court? Do not take disbelievers as friends unless they convert and kill them if they refuse 489. Is this hate speech? Quote, it is not enough that we merely oppose Judaism. We should eradicate Judaism like we eradicate malaria and corona, unquote. Now I ask all those supporting Stalin as well as the Supreme Court, is this statement not anti-Semitic? In fact, Rahul, you will be arrested in 16 nations for saying this. But replace Judaism with Sanatan Dharma and you not only escape arrest, you celebrate the bigotry unabashedly. Uday Stalin uttered a shockingly anti-Hindu, anti-Sanatan Dharma, and the problem is the subsequent clarification was also utterly devoid of truth. If a BJP minister had said what Stalin has about another religion, there'll be a civil war by now. But Hindus are easy to abuse. They don't behead transgressors.
Let me add footnote number 12, Dr. Ranganathan, to your exposition. Very good exposition, but the fact of the matter is, viewers, that, a spokesperson for a terror organization in a neighboring state was given a platform for saying exactly what Dr. Ranganathan was saying. In fact, that person, his organization, is militantly opposed to Judaism and wants to eradicate it, quote unquote. You can look at the Hamas charter, but that person got a platform, and of course the Supreme Court is not coming down on the group that gave him that platform, which is a leading Islamic political group in this country, viewers, with a great legacy, which goes all the way back to partition. Can you imagine, viewers? So there you have it. But let me bring in S. Vijay Dharini. She's a very eloquent speaker. Ms. Dharini, today a small beginning, though Dr. Ranganathan will disagree vehemently with me, a small beginning at even virtue signaling has begun. And the court has come out and said that Mr. Stalin's son, Mr. Udayanithi, should be booked by the police. In effect, rubber stamping the fact that this gentleman has committed hate speech, and the Congress today, Ms. Vijay Dharini, supports the DMK.
Yes.
Will you now snap ties? I mean, you waited perhaps for the court to take a stance because you believed him at face value. Now the courts have taken a stance. Is it time for you to part ways with the DMK, especially after it has insulted the Hindu faith?
See, actually, what was meant by Mr. Udayanithi Stalin is in a different manner. That's what one should understand. I think the details of all these can definitely be explained to the High Court. Primarily, he has meant only that there is discrimination insofar as caste-related issues are concerned in this system. But however, the Varnasara Dharma may propagate such things, no doubt. But however, the hierarchy is not a matter insofar as Sanatana Dharma is concerned. But definitely there is a divisive discrimination that happens within the religious contours of these dharmas. That is what he is meant to say. So this explanation, ultimately, the courts will agree. That's what, as a lawyer
No,
of the
don't go with
Supreme Court
ultimately.
and the High Court, practicing the High
You're
Court,
you're
I strongly
you're a very
feel
intelligent and
the
articulate
explanation
spokesperson.
Can definitely will be agreed.
But
Yeah.
Ms. Vijay
So
Dharini,
I
let's
think
go by what the court has
what
said
he
right
meant
now.
is only the discrimination.
No,
The
it's
other
fine.
part of Sanatana Dharma, practicing Sanatana Dharma, or practicing maybe Varnasana Dharma, the word.
No, ma'am, put your hand on your heart. Put your hand on your heart and you tell me, do you think that,
but
okay, let me take you through.
Practicing Sanatana Dharma may not be
Okay.
wrong.
So let me take you
Maybe,
through these
on the face
utterances.
of it. But
Okay. No, I'm glad you've
Rahul-
drawn that distinction. But madam, can I ask you a question then, Ms. Vijay Dharini? Look, it's an important issue. It's a very sensitive issue. And a lot of Hindus are tuned in. And I'm sure even people like Tehseen Poonawalla will not agree with you tonight. I'm sure. Because he's an intelligent, rational human being. And he is full of muhabbat and love for everyone. And he has been very categoric in the past also. And I take him at face value. But I want to ask you a couple of things. You are saying that Sanatan Dharma should not be chastised. So I'm asking you, madam, Sanatan Dharma is like malaria and dengue and corona. It should be eradicated, quote unquote.
No.
Do you believe this should be said?
My view, Rahul, my view, I wanted to make it very clear. Sanatana Dharma is part of Hindu religion, no doubt about it. But a portion of it, which is claimed to be Varnasara Dharma, that's my understanding, has some discrimination insofar as caste orientation is concerned.
Okay.
That's what is hurting people, they wanted to say.
Okay.
But
So let me ask you.
I strongly feel practicing Sanatana Dharma is, on the face of it, is nothing wrong. It does denotes
Okay. Another
Hinduism.
partner of the
But
Congress in the India
the
Alliance.
caste part of it, discrimination caste part of
Okay,
it. on the
discrimination
face of
part is
like
bad.
the,
Fair enough. Let me
and the
let me
Varnasana
ask you.
Dharma does matter. This explanation,
Okay.
if Udayanithi Stalin is able to give in the court
Clearly
of
it
law,
has not succeeded.
definitely the court is going to accept.
Well, let me tell
So
you,
where
ma'am.
does criminalization will come in so far as these things are concerned?
Okay, but Ms. Vijay
There is
Dharini,
nothing
the
like
court
that.
has
This is only
said.
purely politics that's being played.
Okay, madam, 1 minute,
Just
please.
because the 2024 elections are around, all
No,
these
no,
things
no.
are being played.
No, 1 second. That's an
Nobody is
unfair
going to
remark
talk
to make
about
on the
this
court.
after
The court is not
2024
playing
elections.
politics. They are not part of the
Okay.
NDA. Please, that's not a fair assumption.
Court has not opined anything. Rahul, I wanted to make it very clear. Court has not given any opinion. Court
Ma'am, it
only
has.
said
It is
what the-
observed. It has
That's
made
it.
so many. It
To
has made
find
so
an
many
inquiry,
observations.
take the inquiry report from Udyanidhi and Udyanidhi Stalin and file it in the court. That's
No,
what
madam,
the
then
court
why
said.
is the court
The court
asking
has
the
not
police?
said anything.
Okay, okay. If he is
Anything,
not
court has
guilty,
not opined anything.
okay, Ms. Vijay Dharini,
Court
if
has
the
not opined anything.
okay, one
I
second,
hope-
one second,
I hope you
one second.
accept.
It has
Court
said.
has not opined
Okay, let
anything.
me just read through. Okay, you may not believe me. Let me read through
yeah.
what the court has said. Dereliction of duty on part of the police. Cops failed to act against inflammatory speech. The court is saying act against this man for giving an inflammatory speech. Ma'am, let me finish.
The cops to inquire Mr.
No,
Udyanidhi
not
Stalin and
inquire.
file a report.
There has been inaction.
They didn't make an inquiry on
Must
the
okay.
Case filed.
Then the
That's
court
what the
says
court means.
that
There is
those
no
in
opinion
power.
about Sanatana Dharma.
Okay.
Where did the court say anything about Sanatana Dharma? Where did the courts speak of anything about Udyanidhi Stalin's speech?
Ma'am,
They
it
didn't
has.
speak anything about it.
I have the entire
They
court
spoke
in
about
front
the
of me.
case.
I have the entire court in front of me. I'm reading it to you,
Yeah,
but you're
the
not
court
listening.
order, I also
So why is the
read through
police?
court
Why is the
order.
police being asked to act against Udyanidhi
No,
Stalin?
the court has said you inquire him.
No.
What does he
No,
say?
no, no. I'm
on
sorry,
the
madam.
complaint?
Now
And
you're
file
okay.
the
Okay,
report.
okay. I
In
don't
my
want to get
view, it
into
is
a.
like that.
Okay.
In my
Okay.
view, I take it like that. In
Okay. In your view, you
take
can take it like that.
around.
Fine. Okay. It's your
Why
view.
don't you take it inside?
Okay.
What I say.
Okay, ma'am.
The court
Fine.
might have meant like what I said.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.